Hello and a very warm welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. It's so good to have you on tonight's show because we have such a special treat for you. Oh yes, we have the absolute legend that is Eamonn Holmes, and here is what happened when I caught up with him. Eamonn Holmes, this is a special day because you're on the show. It's the actual Eamonn Holmes. Thank you so much for doing this today.
It is different. This is funny though, me being interviewed because I'm so used to asking the questions. So
I know, because I've come on GB News before and it's been totally the other way around.
Yeah.
But I did kind of go on there and go, please, can you go on my show? And honestly, you've no idea how much we all appreciate this. So
well, I hope so.
Thank you so much. We're going to have food afterwards, so it's all worthwhile. But we've got you on today because we want to check out your favourite songs.
Yeah.
And the first song we spoke about the other day, which is Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine. And you said to me that when you used to be a DJ, you love to fill up the floor with this song, right?
Well, the worst thing is that you, as a DJ, no one gets up on the floor, nothing's happening.
I can't cope with that.
Oh, but the one thing that always, in my time, in the early 80s, doing clubs in Northern Ireland, was that if you put on Katrina and the Waves, everyone walked on the dance floor and they walked on Sunshine. And it was very much the in thing. I mean, I'm not saying it's my favourite song in the world or anything like that, but I'm just saying it works.
Do you love the 80s? Is that your thing?
No, I would be more the 70s. I just had this thing about disco music and, you know, Rolls Royce, Car Wash, you know, those sort of songs, and, you know, the Jacksons and various things like that. I think the 70s was just an amazing decade, but the 80s was when I had to work. When I had to work, because I wasn't a DJ, but I was on telly and there was a demand for me to appear at nightclubs and various things like that. So that's what I did. And Katrina and the Waves, it got them going.
It's amazing when you hear those songs today. They're still so current, aren't they? And it's funny because I hear music now and I think, oh, I kind of like that. But when I hear those songs from like the 70s and 80s, it brings back memories, and it gives me goosebumps when I hear these kind of songs.
Good music is good music. I would love to do a news program. I mean, you could be talking about Prince William and Kate or whatever, and then say, but let's hear from the Queen. And you go, you know, Freddie Mercury and something. And I love the idea of that, and that's why I'm quite envious of someone like Jeremy Vine, who on Radio 2 can talk news, have debate, whatever, and then link to music. Music so affects your mood.
It's medicine, isn't it?
It is.
Because I've got different playlists for different occasions. And I mean, if you heard my playlist I had on the treadmill this morning, you'd be like, are you okay? Because it's got musical theatre and 70s song, 80s song, but it does, it has that kind of thing that just makes you feel really good, doesn't it?
I think also because news today is so combative, it's so argumentative, and if you're not giving people what they want to hear, they assume you're against them. So you can't ask questions as such, you've got to give opinions increasingly nowadays. And I think the world is an angry place, and maybe rightfully so, it's an angry place. But it's not good for us as individuals just to listen to confrontation all the time and to talk negativity. And that's why music, whatever your music is, whether it's classical, whether it's rock, whether it's pop, whether it's disco, that it is an escape. It's something that takes you somewhere else, and that's I think that's a really important antidote to life.
Yes. Well, on that note, we're going to go into Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine. We're going to have a little biggie here at the table. Here we go. So, we've got some fun facts for Eamonn Holmes because we've done our research here on the show. And my fun fact, first of all, is that your dog Maggie stands guard at your bed at 3 o'clock when your alarm goes off for GB News.
Yeah, the alarm goes off and the lights don't go on. And if the lights don't go on within a couple of minutes, I will then feel on my feet and on my legs, I feel this little lick. And I think, and it makes me smile straight away, because she doesn't bark or doesn't make any fuss or anything, but she comes over and basically says, Dad, the alarm's gone off. It's time to get up.
She knows. She's like, come on.
Yeah, she does know. So I don't have to set a second alarm or anything like that. The doggy lets me know, right, you've laid in enough now, that's it, up you get.
I love dogs so much. My dog Zuki, who's watching right now, she just knows every emotion you're going through.
Yeah.
And even when you leave the house, she's like, how dare you leave the house? How dare you leave me?
Well, I've got quite friendly in recent years to a woman called Jane Goodall, and she is the foremost primologist in the world. And she basically, that means she talks to primates, to apes and monkeys and things like that. And she can literally talk the language that chimpanzees talk. And the same could be said, I've got into conversation with her about animals and her being a sort of Dr. Dolittle. She can talk to the animals. And basically, her theory is that most animals, if not all animals, obviously have a form of communication where they do speak to us, but we just have to be able to tune in and understand what they're saying. And I think if that is true, and I do believe it is true, I think it's a sin. It's terrible that we are not taught, or we don't spend more time trying to understand those animals, where they're coming from, what they're doing, what they're saying to us. How much would you love to be able to have a conversation with your dog? Although you probably do.
All day long. I'm like, I love you so much. Like a million times I say to her.
Yeah, yeah.
She's my life, literally. I much prefer dogs to humans.
Well, there's that saying, I hope I become the person my dog thinks I am. And, you know, we will never, I mean, I adopted my dog 16 years ago, and I genuinely have never experienced affection like it, unconditional love.
Yeah.
No human can ever offer you what a dog offers you.
And you do a lot of work for...
Yeah, for rehoming dogs, charity dogs, and people who abuse dogs. You just, you just think, you know, what is it? If you cannot be good and kind to an animal like that, what is your point? What is your purpose in life? And I think that we all would be much better people if we learnt how to just evolve our relationship and how to speak, how to be kind, how to communicate, how to cooperate with animals. And I do have a big regret, and it's a worry with me that I'm not vegetarian. And I think it's because we've all lost the connection as to where meat comes from, for instance. So we go to the supermarket and we get sausages and we think they come from a packet. We don't realise they come from pigs or cows or whatever, and we don't realise what goes on, what goes through the system to make that product at the end of the day. And I think it's something I would like to aspire to become certainly vegetarian, yeah.
Yeah, well, we could actually talk about dogs all day, couldn't we?
Yeah.
We love our dogs. But we are going to go into your next song, which is Mungo Jerry.
Do you know, that's the first song I bought. I think the year was 1970, and it cost 50p in Boots. And in Boots, I remember going into Boots to get it, the record department in Boots. And yeah, and it was a great song. It was regarded as very risky in many ways. You thought, well, I'm really brave doing this, you know. I've got women on my mind. Did it? And when you're 10, maybe you shouldn't have women on your mind. Yeah.
Maybe not.
But it was very good, very good.
Well, it actually stayed #1 for, do you know how many weeks it stayed #1 for?
No.
7.
Ria's superb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this is an absolute tune. Enjoy it, and we'll see you after this. My next fact is that a couple of months ago, I think it was, you were on The Chase. We have to bring that up.
Yeah.
And you were up against the Vixen.
Uh-huh.
How did you find it?
Well, I just wasn't functioning that day. There was
The Lucasade.
but this was a few questions, and I knew the answers to them, and I hit the wrong buzzer.
Is it the pressure when being in the studio?
Yeah, it must have been in speed. Speed is always, and you know, the older you get, you do slow down a bit. There's no doubt about it. I think if I was 30, as opposed to in my 60s, I think I would have done better.
You're an absolute legend.
I'm not legend if I don't get the questions right.
But it was a good experience.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things you got to test yourself, and you're playing for charity, so it's a big thing, and a charity will really benefit from what you're playing for.
Yes.
And I was playing for dog charity, the Dogs Trust that day, where we got Maggie from, and it was just sort of to think that whatever you won was going towards helping them in the work that they do.
Yeah, but like you say, you just can't tell the questions, can you?
You cannot.
You can't tell.
They're all easy when you know them.
Exactly. But we're going to go into, Celine Dion.
Yeah, and this was,
Does she love me?
yeah. This was, I get quite emotional with songs, you know. It's from a movie called Up Close and Personal. It's about two journalists who fall in love, and those journalists are Robert Redford. He's the boss of the newsroom, and Michelle Pfeiffer, who is the up-and-coming reporter. And I went to see this with Ruth, and her and I were working in a newsroom at the time, and it was all very appropriate. So I suppose that sort of became our song.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
I think that was about 1996.
Oh, I love that. So this is kind of a very special song to you both. Isn't it? And I love Celine Dion as well, because have you ever seen her in concert?
No.
I went to the O2 to see her, and her voice, I mean, it is incredible.
The sentiment of the song and the words of the song are very good.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so here we are, Celine Dion, Because You Love Me.
For me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the...
Next fun fact, Eamonn Holmes, is that you have 5 brothers. Or you're one
No,
of 5.
I'm one of 5.
That's what I meant.
Yes, I've got 4 other brothers. I had to count there at that. So I've got Leonard, who's older, Bran, who's a year younger, then Colm, and then Connor. Yeah, so
And
that's...
do you all get on?
Oh, very well.
That's
very
so
well.
lovely.
But it actually sort of amazes me that it might be quite an Irish thing or whatever, but I'd be very close to my brothers, and we'd always see each other, and we'd always socialise together in a very relaxed way. And I feel very sorry for people who are not close to their brothers or their sisters, because I couldn't imagine. They are, my children are the most important people in life to me, and then, my brothers. I can't, and if I was ever, you were described to me your ideal company, it would be my children and my brothers, because I just associate each group with laughter. It's laughter. I mean, that's all I associate.
Christmas then.
Yeah, and what we call, it's a word you're not allowed to use nowadays, but banter. I mean, we can have quite cruel humour with each other, but it's funny. It's funny.
And what's the age? Are you the eldest? Or
No, I'm the second eldest,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's really cool that you all get on really well. And...
We do get on really well, and we all have different roles and different jobs in life. And my brother Brian, who's a year younger than me, he's a carpet fitter, and I sort of think, how in my 60s could I physically do the job that he has to do? And people often say to me, "Oh, you work so hard." Well, I don't work hard compared to my brothers, and I think there's 2 carpet fitters. One's a managing director of his company, and then the other one is a postman.
All right.
And he works for the Royal Mail. And I look and I think, well, I don't work hard. They work hard. I mean, you could say, the worst I have to do is get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a killer.
Well, it is what it is. But my brother's a postman. He's got to get up early as well. I do genuinely believe that if you work at something you love and you really love and you're really passionate about it, you never work a day in your life.
And I think everyone's got that gift or something, haven't they? And it's about finding out what
if you are doing what you love.
Yeah.
I was accepted for journalism college at 18, and I told my mum, and I said, "Brilliant, Mum, I've been accepted for journalism college. We're going to be a journalist." And she said to me, she looked at me and she said, "No, you're not.
Oh.
You're going to go out and you're going to get a wage. I need a wage coming into this house. You're going to go and get a wage. You get a good job and whatever." And I went and I became a trainee manager in Primark, which was completely the wrong thing to do, because I didn't want to do it. I dreamt about being a broadcast journalist from when I was 10 years of age.
Yeah.
And I went and I did what my mother told me. I sort of look back now and I don't think kids today would do what their parents tell them in that way.
I think these days there's kind of a lot, wider scoop, isn't there? For sure.
But I did that, and it was so awful, so hard. Retail is so hard that I just said to my mum, "I'll work in a pub at night." I said, "You can have all the money from it, but I am going back to journalism college."
You just knew.
And I did. But why it was really good for me is that I realised that outside this writing for a living, which I was going to do, life was a lot tougher. It was a lot tougher to do things that you weren't naturally attracted to.
Yeah.
And I was the journalist of the year that year in my college class. I got a check for £100 for that. I always remember that. And then, and amazingly, after 6 months out there in the open working for a building magazine, my college lecturer phoned me and said, Holmes, Ulster Television are looking for reporters for a farming programme. And I said, but Mrs. Fitzpatrick, I don't know anything about farming. And she said, rule one of journalism, Eamonn, find out.
Right.
And so I always found it to be, whether you're talking about horse racing, politics, sport, whatever it happens to be, entertainment, you find out.
Find out. Yeah, good advice. And here you are now. So we love that for you. And we're going to go into your next song, which is, wait for this, Ain't Nobody, Rufus and Chaka
Chaka Khan. What a great song. What a great song. I remember dancing to this when I was at Ulster Television. My great mentor was Gloria Honeyford. And she did the big programme. And the best thing ever happened to me was she left to go to Radio 2. And I got her job. And Karen, her daughter, used to come from school and do her homework at Gloria's desk in the office. And I was 19, 20 at the time. Karen would have been 15 or something like that. And then Karen and I ended up working together on a programme in Glasgow for 6 weeks in the summer. Okay. And I remember one night dancing with her to this very song, and it was a lovely song, and every time I hear it I think of Karen.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, this is actually the last chart single before Chaka Khan left for a solo career. Here we go. Now, I think we all know this about you, Eamonn, but I have to say that you are a passionate Man United fan.
Oh, yeah.
I know you like talking football.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about the game at the weekend?
Well, the game of the weekend was one of the best games of football I've ever seen. But we weren't expecting to win it against Liverpool, 4-3. And that's what football's all about. That's the dream. It's got the ability to raise you up and beyond anything you've ever felt in life, and it's the ability to drag you down again. And it hasn't been too good in recent times, but that was just beautiful. The lovely thing about football is I find that when I go to watch football, I regress to being 10 years of age. So you're not a grown-up anymore. You're thinking you can play. You have views and opinions on things, and you just forget. You forget about ordinary life and all the troubles associated with ordinary life for 90 minutes, and that's lovely. And the fantastic thing is about it, all my children, my brothers, everybody I know supports Manchester United. And people think in Ireland, that Ireland is green or orange, but it's not. It's red, and it's mostly Man United red, which is a wonderful thing. It's hard to explain. I mean, if it is an escape for you, then it truly is relaxation.
I hear you. I find that when I watch the England games, I get too involved. I get too upset. The next day, I'm bursting into tears still because I'm still so involved in it. So it's not good for me. But it's nice that you all follow it and your family's involved.
Everybody. My neighbours are involved. Everybody I know is involved. Yeah.
We're going to get into the next song, Johnny Cash, Jimmy Hart and Jackson.
Jackson, what a brilliant song. It's about two lovers who obviously really have the hots for each other, but to the point where they fight. You go to Jackson, see if I care. Of course she cares. Of course she cares. And he's saying, yeah, I'm going to Jackson. Yeah, see if I care. Yeah. Of course he cares too. And I just think it's a beautiful, lovely, frictional relationship. It's hot, it's heavy, and obviously they really just fancy the pants of each other.
And you love Johnny Cash, don't you?
Oh, totally. What a genius. I mean, people that would stand out in my lives musically, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, and that's a totally different. We mentioned disco music earlier and what sort of kick that would give me, but country music and gospel music. Both Cash and Elvis were the biggest selling country artists, gospel artists.
Now,
that the world has ever had, and there's prayer music and lyrics in all of this, which is amazing. And Cash is just a great purveyor of this sort of thing, as is Elvis. Elvis, just an amazing artist. But Johnny Cash, Jackson, go to Jackson, see if I care. We've been talking about Jackson.
Holmes, this has been emotional. It has been a real pleasure to have you here. We've drunk Lucozade, haven't we? Which has been a highlight. We were going to have Maltesers because we decided we both love Maltesers, but we thought we'll save that for afterwards, didn't we?
But I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm about 64 years of age, and I think, why am I eating sweeties? Why am I eating Maltesers and things like that? You know, it's
life, isn't it?
you just think it's life, yeah.
Have you tried the Malteser bunnies?
Yeah, I've tried them all.
Yeah, me too.
Have you tried white Maltesers?
No.
There's white Maltesers as well, yeah.
When I went to America, they didn't have Maltesers over there. And I was genuinely upset.
Yes.
Like, how can you not have Maltesers?
Bereft. Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
What is going on?
Yeah,
That's
literally,
not
but
right.
I will try white Maltesers, that's the one. And we're going to end on Beautiful Day, you too.
Yeah. Do you know what? Beautiful Day is related to football as well, because ITV, they bought over Match of the Day from the BBC, and my broadcast hero, Desmond Lynham, hosted this and presented this. And it used to be on early on a Saturday evening. And, you know, sometimes you'd either be watching the game on television, or maybe I've been to the game in Manchester, and I've then gone back to the hotel and whatever. And that music transports you, because especially if you've won, and in those days we won all the time under Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
And sung by Bono and U2, you just thought, it is a beautiful day. There's nothing much wrong with the world today, listening to this.
Yeah, we're going to play that song out now on the show. But Eamonn, like I said at the beginning of the show, we are honestly so grateful to have you here, because for me personally, you always remember those people that help you out along your journey. And also, you know, I thought, is he really going to come on? He's actually come on the show, the Eamonn Holmes. And honestly, it means so much. And to my viewers who regularly tune in and have supported me from the beginning every week.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. It's been such a treat and an honour, honestly. Thank you so much, Eamonn.
And I hope it's going to be a beautiful day for you as well.
Yeah. He's good. It's Eamonn Holmes, everyone. Oh, huge thank you to Eamonn Holmes. Just wonderful on tonight's show. And thank you to you at home for joining me and supporting me every week. It's so appreciated. Thank you. Now, I will see you same time, same place next week. Stay safe. I'm Hayley Palmer, and I'll see you then.
The heart is a blue.